Good afternoon, Speed Gaming, and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer main tourney brackets. We are in the start of round one. We do get 2 weeks for this first round, but some groups are just raring to go and racing. And as you see here, we've got a game 2 between Schulzer and ZenArcane. Today, we've got Fad Keys GT, with Schulzer having taken game 1 yesterday. So Zen needs to win today to force a second game. If Schulzer wins, or whoever wins this series, we do know who their opponent would be. It would be against GFE, taking down Dixon 2-0. But here we go. I am Radical Sniper 99, joined today by Demon's Druid. Hello.
Hi, and that's an early hook shot.
A very early hook shot. Zen getting some bombs, which isn't a bad start, but yeah. Schulzer getting the much nicer starting item with his Link's House start. But yeah, we were talking about it a little bit beforehand. It was a very interesting first race between the two of them. Pretty close, but definitely a strong win over on Schulzer's side to get to this point. But yeah, Fad Keys or Fast, whatever you want to call this fad, it's 80 keys, but it's got some variations. What are they, Demon's Druid?
Well, it's key sanity. I'm not fully up to date on all the changes for Fat Keys, but I do know it's full, or as I know it, full all dungeons keys. So you also have to do Castle Tower.
Yeah, so the 80 keys does mean that you have to beat everything, Castle Tower, and all the pendants. The F in the 80 keys, we call it fast or fat or faux 80 keys. What that means is that the GT big key is guaranteed to be in GT for this mode, and the Castle Tower small keys are guaranteed to be vanilla. So no hunting for those 3 keys. So we do know where 3 of our things roughly are. That GT big key could be anywhere in the GT basement. But the 2 chests in Castle Tower, those are definitely going to be the Castle Tower small keys. So no hunting there. We do see a heart piece on race game, so Schulzer's not going to get that. He got that 1 bomb just in case, and he worked up some good money off the stun prize. Although there is a key on the library, and we did see a sword for Zen, as well as big keys to Ice and Misery Mire.
I'm not fully used to being past all dungeons here, and I'm like, ooh, a key, oh this, oh that. And I'm like, wait, no, key logic, I don't know much of that.
Yeah, so the key logic, in terms of Mire and Ice, Mire big key is of course required to beat the dungeon. Ice big key is more of a I appreciate having it kind of key. Not oh yeah, I needed that key. And another big key, this time to Thieves Town. That's a really interesting one to get. The fact that we also got the hammer out of the back of the tavern is a nice addition. Now, if we can just find that Thieves Town small key, when our runners do reach Thieves Town, they're going to feel a lot more confident in the full clear.
Definitely. Having a sword for Thieves Town is always a nice thing. But still, 3 hearts and just a fighter sword? Well, okay, you have hammer. Or Thieves Town is not something you would look forward to.
No, and realistically, we'll take our time with it. We've got some, we'll get some extra checks before then, but you're definitely hoping maybe I can get something a little bit better. And realistically, our runners aren't going to rush it. And yeah, the big thing about this mode to recognize is the fact that even though we don't necessarily know we're going to get, or knowing where some of these keys are, that doesn't preclude the idea that GT Basement couldn't have a lot we still need. Depending on our pendants by the end, there is a good case to make that there's going to be plenty of big keys there. We do get the big key to Skull Woods as well, of Bottle Vendor.
That is definitely something you want to buy.
I mean, it's a key that has varied value for us. And Schulzer's not going to check Kakariko or the Lost Woods.
I mostly said it because in my head I'm like, ooh, okay, now you can at least check it. But I guess if you don't have it, you don't have to worry about having to check it. There's the dichotomy in there about either you have it early and you're like, I could have an item, it could not. I might have to check it. But if you don't have the key, you could be like, oh, I don't have to check it. But then you can wonder about where could it be? Could I find it later and have to come back?
Yeah. I will say, Schulzer also did skip Bottle Vendor, so did not get that big key to Skull Woods. So not a big deal at this point. Just a couple of checks not made. Nice heart container there. We don't need it. We'll get plenty. Who cares? It's good.
About that skipping for Schulzer, the race they did yesterday, Schulzer skipped quite a few checks in different locations where he did the first chest of the proper escape, so not the uncle checks, but the first proper check, and then he ditched escape, never came back. And also Thieves Town got the first 2 chests, didn't even finish the front, and then left.
Wow, that is a loaded mini Moldorm cave with flippers, pearl, and the flute. So we are bailing to head back to Kakariko, which works out nicely for Schulzer.
I saw all those items, and I'm still talking about this point.
Yeah, this is a hard mode to skip things, is one of those big considerations. You're likely going to full clear a lot of the game. Schulzer, unfortunately, running that hook shot into the sight cone of those green guards. Zen is actually going to walk out of the cave. In terms of time save here, by the way, this is a little bit of a time save better for Schulzer. Just because of the fact that, like, oh, wait, maybe not. No, it still is. I was going to say, no matter what you're really doing here, like, usually you want to wait or you want to go activate your flute immediately after Mini Moldorm Cave, and there's Schulzer getting that big key to Skull next.
Yeah, you can just flute to 8 and then you can walk back. I do feel like flute early, activating it is the faster play. But looking at our items, we're just a glove away from Dark World.
Yeah, now we get that small key we can see on the Zora ledge, although Zen cannot get the Zora item. Good use of flippers here. Swimming is faster than walking, as long as you can avoid those edges. But I like Schulzer's aggressive play here, saying, I've got all the tools for the mountain. He'll beat Hera while he's here. And we'll get a small key, this time to Thieves Town. Oh, wow, so very nice. That'll be a full clearable Thieves Town when we actually get Dark World access. I will mention Schulzer did get that Mount Meyer big key as well, so if you're a little concerned about that, viewers, he is set. He did get the Meyer big in CAC, so we are tied up on those big keys. And that was a GT small key on the Zora ledge, so not a huge benefit at this point. Realistically, we probably want 2 of those for the end of this race, but we're fine for now.
That is in an hour and some change in minutes. At least. If we're pre 1 hour in GT, I'm gonna be very surprised.
There's another pod small over on Schulzer's side. But yeah, so as I said, this is game 2. Winner of this series is guaranteed to face off against GFE. GFE finished sweeping Dixon earlier. I guess that was finished yesterday. Schulzer finished second in his group. ZenArcane was his group's winner. Desert Small Key and a shovel, though, in Paradox Cave 5.
And also picking up the bombos in there.
We're gonna get to the Ice Rod Cave.
Ooh. We're
I like
getting...
the play.
Ooh.
And also grind out some money here. We not pour off for the money side of things. Floating Island's nothing, and actually Schulzer is not going to Hera right now. I am surprised.
They might be circling back to it, but yesterday Schulzer did Hera and then Spiral.
Yeah,
so...
like, I don't know, like, if he does that double back up for Hera, I'd be kind of surprised here. That's the thing, like, key modes versus open yesterday, like, has a very different kind of feel to it. It could be that Schulzer was hoping for a big key to Hera before going in and wanted to just possibly check that box before going into Hera, and that seems to be what his thought might have been. So it's a little cautious. It didn't work out this time, but that's my best guess of what he's thinking. The man under the bridge, Hobo, just a compass to Ganon's tower. And yeah, Schulzer is being very careful here. He knows he is in Oko from all these enemies.
ZenArcane also checked Lake Hylia, and it was just a map. So, would be nice to know the map, but that's not something to be picked up.
No, and generally, I personally feel I don't map check in this mode. I might talk to Saha to find out what my green pendant is, but I don't talk to Bomb Vendor here because you're just beating all the dungeons anyway. And generally speaking, you'll see our runners do a menu at some point and be able to determine, hey, do I have the 5/6s? Although we do get that map to Thieves. Oh my gosh, the game is just saying, hey, go to Thieves. We'd love to, we just don't have Dark World access yet.
Isn't the logic in Key Sanity as well, and especially these types, where in order for the logic to be able to say, okay, you can clear this dungeon, you need to have the map and the compass as well?
There is some logic to that. I personally don't care about it, but I know some people will point that part out.
I was mainly thinking it in the way that we got a lot of things for Thieves Town already, including this map now.
Dark World access. There is the glove in Spec Rock.
Now, having that glove in Spectacle Rock, would you say you like Schulzer's routing here on the mountain better than Arcane's, or?
So that's the thing, is that, you know, what I'm seeing is Schulzer is giving himself the route to get Spec Rock after Hera. So, like, smarter than I realized. And hey, that is the pendant, one of our pendants, so.
Zen immediately following that glove into back of escape.
So that's the thing, like, you asked the question, I don't know, like, this is really smart from Schulzer, recognizing the fact he might have had to make a choice. Now he doesn't have to make this choice. Another pod small out of the back of escape.
Zen not continue on the mountain, completely following the glove and getting Dark World access. I would not blame them.
Yeah. Although I'm curious why we're walking. Did Zen activated his flute?
That is true. I was like, but we don't have the boots yet. We have to walk. And I was like, oh wait, no, we have flute.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get Hype Cave here from Schulzer. I think he's gonna just do a very traditional Dark World start here, head over to Digging Game and see what he can get. Not a ton of money, but enough. Hype Cave, are you at all hype today? Heart Piece. Money. A small key to Turtle Rock. Okay, that's necessary. And a small key to Ganon's Tower. It's fine. It's a cave.
It's the second Ganon's Tower small key that we found, so you've got your wish about having two when we get there.
Yeah. And it's dependent upon, I guarantee that Zen will get that key. I don't know if Schulzer will. We did also see the Pod Big Key, and its Swamp and TR are 5-6 crystals.
And Schulzer heading Pyramid into Catfish? Maybe a pot dip?
I think you wait for Pod here, even with the 3 smalls we've accumulated. No bow, no big key on Schulzer's side. I think we want to wait. But I don't know if this is a Catfish play. And actually, I mean, if Schulzer starts working up money, I would think maybe Pod, but he is a little short.
Well, that's money.
Speaking of.
Dropping down. So it is continuing on, and we find a second sword in Thieves Town.
And this might be Catfish. And hey, Blue Mail over on Zen's side, so front of Thieves Town, not half bad. Yeah, I was just with the money. The fact that he wasn't killing the stunned enemies made me wonder if he was still thinking about it. Like, he's definitely aware of his stun prize, because he did work it during the start. So...
Oh, I thought that missed.
Nope. Schulzer definitely showing his ability and his knowledge here. That is just... That's knowledge. That is definitely experience showing itself. He knows exactly where he can throw that rock and still hit it.
About to get the Aztec chest in Thieves Town here for Zen, while Schulzer is going to check back escape.
Yeah, and I believe there was that fourth pod small there, so like at this rate, Schulzer's gonna get that pod small as well as pod big. The seed is definitely starting to hint that pod might have something.
But not having a bow for pod is not that comfortable.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, realistically, Schulzer waits for at least the big key. If not also, like, he's got options that are better. Thieves Town, in this case, is just screaming, like, hello, I'm here, please come.
I was saying, like, I was saying what I said in terms of pod being possibly bow-locked, and I was like, but that's in regular. This is key sanity. That doesn't matter as much. I need to think.
Yeah, key logic is important in some regards. We'll see, what things we could find. Like, we could still find a bow-locked bow. Or any of those kinds of situations.
We have a singular Skullwoods small key. Let's see where that will be used.
It'll be used here on this door. It's perfect timing for him. Really easy way to work this. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought He had picked up an item midair. Airborne stuff really messes with bomb jumps. So unfortunately, that's what threw that off. Yeah, using that small key there, very normal. 2 bottles so far in Skull Woods. And Schulzer's like, yeah, I'm not very reviving, so let us get rid of that real quick. And the cape, Safety Woods.
Faithstown is a crystal after a nice fight from Zen player.
Yeah, I saw somebody say it was Gear Town for thieves. The Skull Woods are obviously safety woods. We'll see if the big key chest has anything. Zen also going to check Sea House here. I'm happy to say it is not the boots. If those were boots, I would have felt really bad for Zen.
Ooh, mitts.
And that is worrisome for Zen. Not that Zen couldn't still just head up to Skull here, but he's in a tough spot and making a reasonable play south.
Luckily, it's a fast old dungeon seed. So they will get around to getting that, but it all depends on how fast.
Yeah, I mean, if you're rooting for Zen here, what you're really hoping is Fire Rods somewhere on this or Dig Spot.
Now, allow me to propose something that could be evil. How about, in terms of rebranding dungeons, Palace of Darkness becomes Palace of Light. We get the lamp and the fire rod there.
I mean, there's definitely some situations where that's becoming a possibility. Surprisingly, no fire yet at all besides that Bombos medallion. Although we also have a lot of access for Ice Palace now.
I was just going to mention that as well, yeah. Ice Palace is a possibility, if my counting is right. I don't know about small keys and everything, but...
So right now we would be small key locked for sure, logically. But in terms of our 2 runners, plenty of skill to get through that dungeon with their current equipment.
And Schulzer is in to grab their goodies from Faithstown.
Yeah, in terms of this early, like I'm going to call it an early deficit for Zen. Those mitts do speed up a lot of this game.
I don't know where, but I'm suddenly seeing Zen has Tempered Sword.
We got another sword off of Stumpy.
Ah, okay. I figured it was somewhere in that loop, but I didn't know where.
Yeah, so we'll see how much Schulzer clears after he finishes up Thieves. He'll definitely head south. Could do Hammer Pegs, could do maybe pick up the Smith, but at minimum I would expect him to hit Dig Game and Stumpy. And this is, you know, I was kind of okay, Zen got the flute out, where's he going? Back to Kakariko.
Oh.
Okay, looks like this is going to be Skull Woods. I was a little concerned, but the fact that he's heading back to Skull is a really good thing.
I would be hard-pressed to figure out something that they would do rather than Skullwoods from this portal, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, the other possibility was when he went up to Mountain, I thought maybe East at Mountain to Hera. But this is an equally good option at this moment.
Schulzer really dancing around those enemies there.
Now, of course, the big benefit here for Zen is the ability to do more of Death Mountain. He'll be enticed into a fuller play of Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain, whereas Schulzer only really has the Dark Death Mountain checks right now. Of course, Zen did not get that Skullwood small key already that Schulzer had, so he's going to have to steal this key for now. And unfortunately, the Givdo's getting a little bit away from him. Schulzer going with almost the pure NMG strat on that room to get the better statue pull, and actually got pretty much perfect RNG on that statue pull as well. Zen having a little bit more to deal with, but no problems. Starting to pick up the money.
They both really got that stun price money in Feastown cell area. Zora is still on the cards, which Schulzer still has the regular Zora area checks, and Zen has Catfish, but less of those regular Zora area checks.
Gotta call out that perfect bomb placement from Zen. It caused him to go nowhere. Good laugh on that one. Here comes the safeties for Zen, though.
Let's see if they keep the fairy in a bottle, or do they set them free as well?
For Zen, the choice is much more obvious to take the free ride. Schulzer was on a heart, and I think he was planning to do a death warp. So for Schulzer, it was like, well, fine, I'm gonna play with the fact that, you know, I was gonna die anyway, so instead I'll take the free ride and use my fairy. For Zen, it's like, I'm taking the free ride. He was on a lot more health. Okay, so Zen has finished up that portion of checks. He is not going to go into checking the Mitch checks here in Village. And this is mountain checks for him. Completely understandable. This is where his density is. I mean, at this rate, you're really hoping for a bow on DDM, because that gives Zen all of Eastern and most of Pod. All but one Pod check pretty soon. I think he'll get a couple of Pod smalls here.
I can't recall how many pod smalls were on the mountain here, but we are getting hammer pegs and smith chain.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip dig game though by this, at least by some estimate, unless he's thinking some other route here.
Ooh, that's the ice rod.
And there's the save and quit. Yeah, Schulzer having a very interesting route so far. I'll be curious to see how this works out in the long run. Okay, so there's Zen's Skull Small. I'm sure he's really happy to get that. You hate having Skull Small go mode, and that will avoid it completely.
What would be one of the worst? Ooh, that's a pod small. That's our fifth one.
Yeah. Not sure if it definitely is, because I'm seeing Schulzer's personal tracker show 4. So I don't know if that is 4th or 5th. I'm using his tracker as just an alternate to take a look at some stuff, but yeah.
We already
But-
have a hell of a lot of big keys.
Yeah, the big key front, we're doing pretty well. We still need TR and Desert. But other than that, we have all of them.
And logically Hera as well.
And I mean, at this point, I would just say that Hera Big's probably just in GT. That's a write-off at this point.
Yeah, I'm basically full cleared anyway, except for one chest.
That in the basement.
Ah, yeah, because it's small. And, no. Wait, yeah. Schulzer has that. So that's logical. Oh, what? Ooh.
Okay, at this point, I'd be saying I'm going to Ice Palace. Like, there's a fully clearable ice.
Zen taking no chances on Moldorm and using the cape to get the hits in freely.
Yeah, really
For
nicely
a
done.
Vicky, the swamp.
Yeah, there's that big key for Swamp. And there's the bow, so... Schulzer not skipping DDM here and really rushing this pick after that, after those mitts. Nice play. I thought maybe Zen could have gotten a benefit out of this, his delay, but if this was a defensive move from Schulzer or just really heads up, it works out really nice. And it's Bombos for Turtle Rock.
That is one less requirement for the seed. Could still need either E for a Quake for a Misery Mire, but depending on if that's a pendant or a crystal, that could be in GT.
I will say the one benefit for Zen right now is this Tempered Sword. The more that the seed is starting to push the dungeon side of things, the less reason Schulzer has to go for Stumpy for Tempered Sword.
I would imagine if Smith Chain ever gets completed, that will be a pickup, but...
Yeah, but I think that counts on the fact that he's using, like, Mirror to turn in the purple chest.
Ah, yeah, true. Otherwise you'd just float through it.
I mean, you'd have to save and quit. So, like, it comes down to mirror checks for Schulzer checking probably Stumpy right now.
Oh, and that's another medallion. Zen opening up Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and he'll have an
Can't
option
do
to actually
anything,
go
but-
in. Well, he could head in and get a couple of checks.
Not without Kane.
He'll get it. It was in hook shot.
Yeah, true. Ah, yeah, true. But not right now.
He's prepped for the possibility.
That is something that was last seed. But last race between these two yesterday, they had Fire Rod on Lava Chest in Turtle Rock. So they had the God layout for that. So that could be something that's playing on Zen's mind.
Yeah, the best way to think about it, these keys seeds is, trying to minimize your double dips. What can I do? How much can I get done in a trip? So for Schulzer here, it's like I can full clear ice. I can get everything done here. Eastern's going to be a similar play. It's like I can beat all of Eastern Palace. You know, if I can get a 5th pod small, that's really nice. Zen here is going to hit up Spike Cave. You know, he can get a full clear, or he can continue to route in more of this dungeon. Schulzer is being very aggressive, and be curious to see if that continues to pay out, or one of these extra thorough checks that Zen might make could start to work.
And it's more likely for a check to be the payoff because it's the full all dungeons.
It's the keys big time. It's
Yeah.
You know, like if you talk to a keys player, it's like, do you scout or do you blind check race game? For the most part, a lot of people will tell you you scout it. In keys, you blind check it. There's just not a lot of ways around doing that check. Heads up routing here, by the way, from Zen. While we haven't done Saha yet, we also don't know what the green pendant is. For all we know, green pendant is Eastern, so we'll do Saha after Eastern Palace. But very nice hammer cold stare there on Schulzer's side, and we get just another map.
It's a desert, which is unknown currently. We have 4 known crystals currently, so there's 3 more crystals around.
Oh, we're gonna get those flipper checks from Schulzer real quick. He's got the money, so he can do all of this.
Not gonna leave anything behind because they already got catfish as well. Nothing so far out of Eastern, but there's still 3 more checks to go here. 2 now.
One of the worthless maps.
Absolutely no issue with the dark room for Zen there. Having hookshot just makes it much easier.
Now, the new piece of information we're going to get besides what Zen's showing, nothing on that check, but Schulzer's going to be able to give us the Zora check, which Zen was short on money.
And Schulzer also swimming a lot. Getting that workout.
Okay, just 20 bucks there, so no worry for Zen. Hopefully he doesn't return to that check later. And I gotta believe that Eastern's next for Schulzer. Like, there's just nothing much better. Like, yeah, we could scout Meyer area, maybe we can beat it. but let's go for that fully clearable dungeon and Saha's Closet. Especially because we're without fire still for Meyer. And I think our runners are going to say, I would hate to leave behind left side Meyer right now.
If we can't get Palace of Light, can we get Fire Palace?
Oh, and there's the fourth sword, and that's the green pendant on Armos. So, unfortunately, that advantage for Zen of the sword on Stumpy is negated. Realistically, Butter does not do enough to make a difference here.
But Zen does get the nicety of Green Pendant Eastern into Saha Closet.
Yeah, and Schulzer's going to get the same on his end, so both runners really heads up here. Green Pendant is nothing, but you still feel better being able to do this order. Saha's Closet, lots of money, a map to Swamp, and Red Mail, so yeah. Not a lot of value. Schulzer's going to be really happy with that sword, but other than that, we got nothing out of Eastern. Shocker.
A lot of safety, I guess, as well. Or Eastern area safety. Niceties.
Yeah, and Hammer Pegs was our Ice Rod. This is becoming a... Like, if the seed keeps giving access to dungeons with full clear potential, so like, Schultzer's in dungeon clear thoughts. Zen's probably thinking the same thing right now. Realistically, Zen goes beat Ice after this. After he beats Ice, it's looking more and more like you'd hit up Meyer. What is going to send Zen back to Hammer Pegs? Like, I don't know what is going to be the driving force to check it. Because this mode is just so much of how can I merge a lot of good checks together, and there isn't a lot bringing you to Vu.
The only thing I can offer in that is yesterday's race. The Ice Rod was also in Hammerpeg's area, but this time it was on the Smiths. So, or that time it was on Smiths, rather. So that might be a little bit of a nudge, but probably not too big of anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that those are just slow checks. Like, at this point, we are nearing an hour. We're past the 40-minute mark. Your thought is going to be, how can I get more done? Where's my dungeons? I want to dip dungeons. I want to be in a dungeon, and there's the mirror. So, like, when I said that there's stuff pulling Zen away from Hammer Pegs, that mirror pulls you away from Hammer Pegs.
And into Swamp, even though we don't have a small key for it yet. So we can't actually... Yeah.
I mean, if we get that small key anytime soon, there's just more things that are... Yeah, that's just not a good spot for Zen to want to do the Smith.
The only saving grace on that would be that you can relatively combo purple chest with it, but that's not something you would want to do.
Yeah, and realistically, like, Meyer area is next. I think Ice is still the best play for Zen, but if I'm in there, got these guys' shoes, and I'm gonna go there next, like, my thought is, I'm checking Meyer Shed, I'm checking Checkerboard, and I'm doing right side Desert. You gave me a Desert small key, let me find something.
Ooh, 999 rupees. Oh, not getting the fast armor skill, but fast enough still.
But yeah, like, in from what I can tell, like, there's just so much better than Smith Chain still. From Zen's perspective, like, maybe he's gonna surprise me. Like, I have a very, you talk to a dozen runners, you'll probably get at least a half a dozen different routes. But like my first inclination is you do this, and like I'm going to ice and desert area.
Which is one of, if not the most dense locations of checks you have left currently that are available. Since we don't have fire or Turtle Rock isn't yet nice to dip, but it was there yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what we've got is we've got one key and we've got access. That gives us the left side chest as well as the chomps. That's all we can actually get to with only one small key. So it's not a lot of choices.
I just keep forgetting this is also key sanity, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is a nice tidbit, and then, wait, no, we have one small key. Oh yeah, key sanity.
Well, that's what makes this mode so interesting. You know, it's one thing to talk about the dipping of dungeons, but it also redoes that math. You know, if you and I talk about Mire, you know, the first thought is Mire only has 2 items in open modes or non-keys mode. So like in that discussion, Mire sounds like a bad dip. In keys, there are 8 checks in Mire that could all be something, and it's not exactly like slow. Mire's actually a decent dungeon to just go for it.
That is indeed something that I hadn't clocked just yet. I was like, yeah, Mire area, yeah, fine, but 2 items in Mire. But yeah, it is key sanity. It has more items than 2.
And I will say, I really like this route from Zen. I love when you go right side, and if you feel comfortable just going for it, like, you just do it. And, okay, Schulzer is... I love seeing different people's perspectives on big key chest versus Hell Away. Schulzer is saying, I want vanilla big key chest, I don't care.
Not paying off just yet, but it all depends on what is in Harmless Hellway. And we find a 3rd bottle in the Dark Maze. Or, no, that's not the Dark Maze, that's Rupee Basement.
Yep. Now, of course, the one thing is Zen, unfortunately, only having 3 small keys entering pod means he can't even do Hellway or Big Key Chest. So, like, even if the Hellway had an answer that's big, oh, and there is the Turtle Rock Big Key.
And a mushroom.
So, like, even if one of those 2 chests had the next step or a big piece of progression to help Zen out here, he's not getting that benefit, only being on 3 keys.
Schulzer is currently leaving the mirror behind.
He'll get it on a second trip. It's not a big deal here. Like, he will get the bridge chest. It's a little non-traditional routing, but really from Schulzer's perspective, this is a very smart route. He's not doubling back for Ice Palace Big Chest. Sorry, not Ice Palace Big Chest. He's not doubling back for Pod Big Key Chest.
We're 48 minutes in. We have a lot of items on the tracker. We still need basically all the required items because, well, it's for all dungeons, so Fire Rod is still a necessity, possibly Quake. Book might not be required, depends on what is behind it. And Lantern logically is required. So we're not that far away off in terms of items, but in terms of keys, how much would you say, like, would you say we're getting close, or would you say, I'm not comfortable yet on it?
So key-wise, what I would point out is we do need at least another 2 TR keys, small key-wise, and we still need the desert big. So there, and the swamp small. So like, we have a few keys that we're missing, but nothing like for where we are time-wise. I'd feel pretty good. The bigger question is, what keys do like. What is the situation keep or crystal pendant wise? But at this point, Schulzer getting his 5th dungeon done. Zen and his Schulzer's gonna have to go back in. We're about even on everything. It really is the advantage for Schulzer here.
You were talking about crystal dungeons versus pendants. We only have one pendant left to find, and it's between Desert, Skull Woods, and Misery Mire. As a runner, where would you want to see that pendant be, basically?
At this point, it doesn't matter. I think I'd want it to be Mire or Skull. Mire or Skull. Because I know at this point that I'm going to get the items to beat. Like, I have the stuff to already beat Mire. And I know I'm getting Fire Rod before I have GT access. Desert being the last pendant means that the Desert Big Key can be anywhere. And that would be, like, that's the scary situation. Like, that's the knowledge that you care about. The other 2 are almost, you don't worry. Like, as soon as we get Fire Rod, I beat Moth. As soon as I go to Mire, I beat Vitreous. And that's why, like, I know chat's kind of like, what about this Swamp Small key? And it's a big deal. Like, the Swamp Small is important. But the fact that we know Swamp is a crystal dungeon means, like, for as much as it is an Ice Rod hunt, it is not... It's not like I'm gonna find out, oh, it's in Ganon's tower. Like, it outside the tower.
The only downside on that is it could technically be pedestal. But that's almost always, except for if it's a pendant, that's always a possibility.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's still not a bad thing. Like, either way, that means GT mode is go beat GT. Like, what the big question is, are we looking for one thing in GT or multiple things in GT? And, it's looking more and more like we're just looking for a GT big.
What?
But there's fire.
Ooh.
That mushroom leading to our lamp. And here we go with Mire. This is... Yeah, at this point, this is your play.
We have fire. We can full clear it, including cutscene chests, so just go for it. With it being 8 items, as I now know.
Well, and we'll see if we still want to do everything in Mire. And yes, Mushroom was in pod. That was a Bombos, so yeah, we can do Mire.
I thought I saw Ether, but I'm very far from certain on that, so I'm gonna trust you. Ah, okay. Tracker is confirming Bombos.
I didn't catch it first view either. I had to look at the restream.
I checked restream and I couldn't see it properly either, so...
There's
you have better eyes than me.
Small for Zen. That is saying something because mine are not great. But yeah, Schulzer into Mire. Important thing here, we only have one small key. Technically, the left side is not in logic right now. We'll see how much he wants to clear this. And it does look like Schulzer going to go for the full clear here. On the plus side, that Ice Rod, Zen will get it, and it looks like he's going to do a few extra checks in terms of the Smith chain, so he'll be able to get some more done. Schulzer, by the way, willing to invest the time on the torches, the upper torches room, but not cutscene at this exact moment. Is he? No, he is skipping cutscene.
Skipping one check, which, given the race from yesterday, makes sense. They did that a lot, but that was open, so that's a little
once
bit.
Again, like, it's the fact that so many. It requires 3 Meyer Smalls for that to be in logic.
Ah, I did not know that. So okay, yeah, no, that is more. That makes more sense.
So we've only found one of the wild smalls. So Zen is okay. So he is not actually going. Okay, so he's gonna do this magic bat. He's gonna fake powder. Nice.
Which is something Schulzer can't do anymore. So let's see how much this pays off. What will the curse be? And that's the last medallion. Ah, just a triple bomb curse.
Yeah, if I'm looking at this, the way I'm thinking the Zen thought about this was he wanted to hit the full play of this chain before turning in the mushroom, and that will be his lamp. So I think this, this is a strong route. It also gets him into, got him his ice rod, so really helpful. Plus, he's getting K45 and Purple Jest, and probably the dig spot, which we have not seen. So there's some extra checks here coming for Zen. Question is, do any of them pay out?
Tempered Sword Cape spins on Vitrius just makes that so much easier.
There's another small key to Turtle Rock. And Zen is not going to dip Swamp here. Decided to ditch his portal. Vitrius has a small key to Turtle Rock as well. And that's a pendant. That's 3 pendants we have. So what we can say is that GT is strictly just beat GT mode.
Yep. We can't enter GT without getting the Skullwoods crystal, and that is locked behind the fire rod.
As well as Desert Palace, which is locked behind that Desert Big Key. So no matter what, we will have we will have all the dungeons done before we go in.
Which is very reassuring. Which also probably means no GT big chest opening.
Yeah, no. At this point, no way you check it. Unless, well, actually, no. There's just no way. Okay,
unless you really want to hope for silvers. But
yeah, that's a
you
play.
wouldn't.
Hyrule Castle small. Oh, wow. But we also have this right side desert play. We've had this desert small for just about as long as possible. And finally we get to check this. What is here? Nothing?
Half of it is nothing, and the other half of it is... Oh!
Logically something, physically nothing.
And Zen just a couple of steps behind.
Yeah, it just has that full mire clear to make up. I mean, for Zen, at least at this point, he's definitely getting that third TR small off of Vitreous. The big question is, when does Schulzer possibly get that third TR small?
I don't remember where that was.
Big spot.
Yep.
And we are getting the 1 hour Agena check here.
Just a piece of heart. Quite the healthy seed so far on 12 hearts.
Yeah, that and red mail, we're not worried.
And this is the swamp dip from Schulzer here, I feel.
I would say more likely Stumpy, Dig Spot, K45, and Dig Game. This is hitting up some checks we skip. Oh, and there's the lamp for Zen. I forgot he had not still done the mire or the mushroom turn in. So good thing he waited a little bit longer. And this does mean Schulzer is going to get that third TR small here off of Dig Spot, as well as his Butter Sword.
Oh, nearly skipped out on it.
Yeah, when I started to see him walk away, I was like, no, buddy. And that's the thing, like at this rate, Schulzer's just hitting a little bit better of a route. Like, there's a couple of things that Zen has done, but, like, at this rate, Schulzer's done them too and is up a dungeon. Schulzer has the Catfish, the Zora check. Like, those are big, out-of-the-way checks. Zen has the Purple Chest. He did Spike Cave. Those are nice, but... like, I would also say Schulzer has the Pod Big Key chest done, which, you know, he's not going back for. The worry there is, realistically, I don't see Schulzer heading back for Hellway. Zen has 2 checks that are potential now for Pod in the Big Key chest and the Hellway, so maybe he's a little bit more tempted, but it's still not great either.
And Zen is doing cutscene chest.
And this is one of those moments, like, if you're rooting for Zen here, if you want to see game 3, like, this check is massive. We are just running out of good checks, and it's looking more and more like our runners will have to head to TR soon. So if you're hoping for Zen to, you know, pull this one out, like, this is a check that needs to pay out for him.
With the keys we have, we can get quite far into Turtle Rock as well.
Yeah, logically, everything but Trinex and Right Side are in logic right now. Actually, Lava Island, Trinex, and Right Side are not, so that's still 8 checks available to us. Laser Bridge is in logic with the current keys. And cutscene is just a piece of heart, so yeah, unfortunately, that is just time sink for Zen.
But it's less of playing on his mind. If Schulzer is missing just, say, the Swamp Small, that might be something they go back for.
There's the 6th Pod Small. Oh, and yeah, Bread, Kuhn pointing out a Mimic Cave for another one. So yeah, there's just so many checks there. At this rate, I don't see much of a world where Schulzer is not rushing TR next. We just don't have a great play. Your best play is Turtle Rock.
Let's see if Schulzer agrees and follows.
And that's the thing, like, I'm not saying I disagree with Zen. I probably would have done cutscene. I'm a full clear type person as well. But at a certain point in this seed, like, there's definitely a point where you know who your opponent is. Like, Schulzer is one of the top runners for sure. You know, to say that he's, you know, the 40-something seed in brackets, like second place out of his group, you're still dealing with somebody that good. And at a certain point, you have to say, I need to skip something. And because, like, skip, or like, is Zen's philosophy here, like, I just need to full clear and hope I get the one thing that Schulzer's definitely going to skip. And unfortunately, like, it's just not working out that way.
I was going to note on the skipping of that chest there, but Zen noticed and came back up the stairs for it.
I will say I've made that exact skip before and felt like an idiot going back up those stairs. It's not a fun feeling.
That's just a second around-ish. Bit more lost by walking the stairs again.
Yeah, maybe that is faster. Like, it's usually a boots thing. So maybe it is quicker, but that's a lot of transitioning screen-wise. Okay, here come the TR checks. Fire shield, not a fire rod. So yeah, not helpful.
It could eventually help to make laser braids more comfortable. Just walk in there instead of having to dodge.
Okay, so the two checks in TR that we had logical access to earlier are not a big deal. No loss there.
It now all hinges on big chest, Mimic Cave, laser braid.
Yeah, that and Crystal Roller Room. I can't imagine there's a scenario where Schulzer pulls Lava Chest. I will say, in terms of the blind ped pull, the reason why we're not seeing it, probably from Schulzer's perspective, is it's just not in logic. Hera Big is still outstanding, so probably feels like not worth the time investment at this point. These Pokies are not playing very kindly. And, you know, I hadn't thought about it. We haven't seen the Hyrule Castle front. We have seen Uncle as nothing, but I completely forgot that we have not seen the front of Escape. Watch this be our Fire Rod.
That is true. I knew we had done back of Escape, so I was like, oh yeah, we've done front of Escape as well, but if this is where Fire Rod is, a small key to Hera.
Yeah, we've had that. It's just unfortunate. We just had no reason to go back for it.
Boots.
But there's Boots. Okay.
Now, if we find Fire Rod in Escape, I would imagine you feel very far behind.
Hard to say. So we've had Dark World access for a while. And Dark World access really was more convenient than checking the front of Escape. Like, you got Death Mountain access, so like for both of our runners, I think you feel like it's reasonable to assume my opponent did not check front of Escape. If there was a weapon on Uncle, if there was like a low tier bombs, like tier 1 bombs, I might be like, my opponent clearly would have checked front of Escape. But given what we know about this seed, I think it's reasonable to assume my opponent probably didn't either.
Heart container, 14 hearts, 10 arrows. $20, and the last chest. Another heart, piece of heart.
Okay, so here comes the Death Warp from Schulzer. He is going to save scum this last key on Lava Chest.
Just to see if it's something useful. If it is,
yep.
Well, you've got to find the last key anyway. If it isn't, well, you know you don't have to go back for it.
Yep, and we'll get that reset. So let us find out if this is actually required. The other side of this I'll mention is Zen is definitely looking at a Aga play after this. And that chest is a small key too. Ice, yeah, goodbye. We don't need that one.
No, I would imagine... no, no small key for Swamp. Can't do that yet. I was like, oh wait, Swamp has a good couple of checks, but no small key, can't do.
We do know there's a small key though on the library, and that is Schulzer's first check. And front of Escape was also nothing, by the way. So unfortunately for Zen, like, you know, you mentioned Fire Rod could be huge, and it just wasn't. Like, this is getting ugly. And there's the small
Swamp locked behind, I believe, Laser Bridge to the rock.
No, the boots were TR Big Chest.
Ah, yeah, okay. Basically the same.
Yeah, Fire Rod, at this point, I'm waiting for it to just show up in Swamp Palace. Like, the seed's really just saying, here you go. Have fun.
So we would need Desert Palace Big and the Fire Rod. And then we would be in go mode, correct?
Yeah, that's it. We are 2 from go. And realistically, both of them could just be in Swamp. And if I'm Schulzer at this point, like, I beat Swamp Palace, I hope for the 2 items that I need to finish this seed. If not, like, reasonably, he could easily just do Hyrule Castle and Aga Tower, and then take that into Lumberjack, Bonk Rocks, and King's Tomb. Like, for him, there is a clear route here that just hits up the remaining things.
This also means Pedestal is completely dead. Because
no.
it can't... Wait.
Ped...
No, never mind.
Ped could still be the answer. We just don't know. Realistically, it does matter where this Hera Big is. But honestly, Hera Big could just be anywhere.
In my head, I was like, oh yeah, no, Pedestal is needed for the Crystal Dungeons. Or Crystal Dungeons is needed for Pedestal, but no, that was the other way around. I had my thoughts running around aimlessly.
Yeah, we'll see how aggressive Schulzer wants to be as Zen is into the Aga fight. And Schulzer's full clearing Swamp Palace. Like, here is Schulzer recognizing this is a bad check for him. Like, if he skips this, he's in, like, this could be a problem. So he is saying, I am going to full clear Swamp Palace. I don't care. Yeah, I mean, Schulzer is being very specific about what checks he's willing to leave behind. Like, leaving behind Cutscene and Mire, like, he's cool with that play. But left side Swamp, he is saying, no, I will not skip this check. This will not be what beats me today. And yeah, the one check that I feel Zen really has in his pocket that could help him is Harmless Hellway and Pod, and I don't know what brings you back. There's the big key to Desert Palace, so we are one from go, folks.
Which also means Fire Rod can be on Dan Molas.
Yeah.
Instead of an Ice Rod hunt, we're on a Fire Rod hunt. Just like last seed. Last race it was also Fire Rod, which was in Lava Chest Turtle Rock. So this series of races has been copy and paste except for locations.
There's that Mire Small. There's our second Mire Small. Meanwhile, Zen on Catfish. We do know this is nothing, so not going to be striking anything here. We still have 4 checks in the back of Swamp, though.
Now, if it isn't in Swamp, and it isn't in Desert Palace, because I imagine you go and clear Desert after Swamp here.
Yes.
Where would you go as Schulzer?
If Desert does not lead to Fire Rod?
Yeah, correct.
I think I would probably hit up Hyrule Castle. Beat Hyrule Castle. Beat Aga, and then I'm doing boots checks. Like, you could say maybe I do boots checks first. Like, maybe I save and quit from Swamp, do King Bonk, and then check Lumberjack. But, like, realistically, it is the boots checks. Should be my next target. And that's the thing. After that, it gets ugly. I don't have a good answer after that. But nice, nice Argus kill there. And we get a piece of heart. So Swamp Palace does have our Desert Big Key. And it's an ugly spot in left side Swamp. But yeah, we are just now, you know, we're still in a Fire Rod hunt.
And with it being Fire Rod hunt, we also know right side of Turtle Rock first room won't be checked.
Yep, that is completely dead. And here we go. Land Moluses are going to be our first check. I like it. And unfortunately for Zen, like one of the big things here is just the fact that Schulzer has had boots for just that long now. Like, it's not totally the worst case, but you know, you wish you could have done some of these things with boots, and you're gonna get them, and it's gonna be like, oh no.
When did my opponent get these?
Yeah, and like you could assume that you're not in terrible shape here, but I gotta think there's part of you that's like, my opponent had to have come to TR sooner.
Ice Rod Land Molars. But Butter Sword so makes it a bit easier.
Nicely done, and Land Molus gives us $300.
So it's not in here. Although it could be on Big Chest.
Yeah, and you focus in on the thing you can do, or the thing you have to do here. So I like the land mo play. Now we'll go back for big chest, and then at that point, I still think it's boot checks, but we'll see.
One small saving grace, if Zen feels very far behind, could be Hera Basement.
What I will say is kind of scarier here is, so far, like, fingers waiting and crossed on this big chest, but okay. So here's the scary part for Zen. If Zen does boots checks first, and the boots locked the fire rod, look at how much opens up for Zen to find the desert big, whereas Schulzer is very, very hard locked in what he has left. Schulzer has minimal checks to find a fire rod, which locks a ton, whereas Zen could get a fire rod that opens up right side TR. It opens up Skull Woods. It's all the little things that Zen has to now check to find a big key. Like, this is not a good situation for Zen if he does boots checks before going for swamp and getting the swamp small off the library. And I'm with our tracker saws on this one, saying that it looks more and more like Terra Big is just in GT. Like, I'm not playing for Ped here because of that. And there's the fire rod in King's Tomb. That is go mode. Yep.
That's boot locked.
Yep, that's go mode for Schulzer. Zen is running out of options, and unfortunately, the fact that Desert Big Key is left side swamp, just does not look good for him here. Unfortunately, you know, we were pretty even after Meyer, but Schulzer making the call to go to TR, whereas Zen decided to make checks into other things, such as Hyrule Castle, really just didn't pay off today.
Which, for this series, has kind of been the main thread. Zen doing a couple checks which were acceptable in terms of logic, but just not the right one, sadly, and Schulzer checking the correct ones.
And that's the thing, like, in terms of this saying that Schulzer was right amount of... Oh, man, and Zen, unfortunately, did not release his fairy. And he wants to do this, the save scum that we saw from Schulzer. I mean, just look at how much time Zen is having to burn here. This is rough. But yeah, what I'll say, like, for as aggressive Schulzer had been up to this point, his checks were never, like, he didn't miss much. Like, he still hit a lot of the same stuff. Like, the only things that he hasn't done is Hyrule Castle. And what, left side Meyer? Or not even left side, just the cutscene chest in Meyer. I'll also point out, if you didn't notice it, Schulzer taking that intentional spike damage in the Moth room. The reason why is sword beams are terrible, and we should not ever have them for the Moth, so he wanted them gone.
Great heads-up thinking.
Yep. Like I said, these are the little things that we've seen from Schulzer consistently in this race. Truly, you know, great runner here, and this is what I was saying for Zen. What's your first instinct after you get boots? And for Zen, it looks like it's King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, and King's Tomb, Bonk Rocks, Graveyard Ledge, and Lumberjack. He is going to get Fire Rod first. This is, you know, if we wanted to say there was an out at some point, getting Fire Rod is not that out. And realistically, like Zen's, like, you talk to any runner, and I'm one from go at this rate, you know, I'm going to Swamp Palace. Left side swamp is not my play. Left side swamp becomes my last play for go mode. And, you know, I think there's a chance that, like, if Schulzer does the opposite order that we're seeing from Zen, maybe he skips left side. But I don't know. I'd be curious to hear from Schulzer on that one. Yeah, and the question is, does Zen remember there's a small key on library?
I didn't until you pointed out that Schulzer was on their way to grab it.
And that's one of those checks, is you make it so early. It's a scoutable item. But one of the hardest things you talk to runners is scouting something and remembering it exists an hour plus later. This isn't like a 5-minute thing. This is an hour and 20 minutes ago. Zen saw that key.
Hey, logically, Meyer is beatable. Also, how much different would this race have been if Herapod wasn't a thing?
If what?
If Herapod wasn't a thing that we needed Tower of Hera big key.
It definitely is a weird scenario to think about. I mean, at this rate, you'd probably just be playing. We'd probably make a couple extra checks, but nothing too drastic. At this point, you would still be playing for GT.
Definitely. But then Hera didn't have any progression, so that theoretical could still be full on.
And nice backdoor strats for the 0 cycle here for Schulzer. Amazing. Perfect. Look at that. No Trinex poking his final head out. A great job to get the 0.
I see explosions. I see Lost Crystal. I see we're heading on our way to Ganon's Tower with some silver arrows.
3 silver arrows in this seed, folks. No questions, you got silvers.
But remind me, how many checks in key sanity are there in Ganon's Tower where the big key could be?
Still 22.
Still 22. So we can still guess out of 22. Last seed, it was Tile Room. Schulzer did say he was potentially thinking about it going it early this time. Let's see if they do.
Given his situation, like, I think he's got to feel pretty good with the skips he's made. skipping cutscene and it didn't have anything, skipping Hyrule Castle and it had nothing. Those are 2 time investments he was able to fully avoid. The 1 time investment he made into left side swamp paid out completely with that Desert Big Key. If I'm in his shoes, I'm feeling good with a traditional route GT here.
Uncle Bombs on 1, $20 on 2. Heading towards Tile Room or through Tile Room?
Through
Tile Room.
Yeah, this is a very traditional route, and we're gonna get the blind ped pull, folks. Bravo, Zen, for giving us the blind pull.
Paradoxical, we get booked. Nope, $20.
No, just $20.
That's Mirror Shield. That's the big key to this dungeon.
Yep, we are good. We are good to go. Let's just rush this.
That was number 5.
In terms of guesses for the number 5,
Timo line. I don't know. I probably butchered the name.
that's about as good as I had as an attempt to guess how to pronounce that. So, yeah. The Desert Palace Big Key is on left side swamp in Big Key chest of left side swamp. It is about as bad of a location as it can get for Zen. Yeah, unfortunately, Schulzer remembered the small key on library as his first checkpost boots, whereas Zen's first play was King's Tomb, which led to his Fire Rod. Completely opposite checks, and unfortunately, Schulzer getting the Swamp Small first and finding Desert Big gave him a much better go mode in Fire Rod. Even with that, I don't think Zen would have come back, because he was already pretty far behind, but that just made it that much worse. Because, like, I could see skipping left side here and going for Turtle Rock, because there's 3 checks in TR. Plus, that leads to Pyramid Fairy. Like, there's just better stuff than doing left side. Or, even if he does go back in for left side, that is extra time spent going into Swamp for a second dip. Like, this is a rude Desert Big Key. In the grand scheme of things.
Schulzer getting a little bit unlucky on the placement, getting one of the Mario projectiles blocked by the spike.
Yeah, hopefully does have enough magic, so he's okay. And Schulzer does still have an Agate Tower to clear after this.
Not getting the tower deletion. Right deletion.
The jingle glitch, I believe, is patched out.
Oh!
Of the rando now.
That's nice.
Oh! Moldorm getting revenge.
That was like jumping on a trampoline. The bounce
That's
you got.
terrible luck. That is a clip of all clips on getting that hit. Dang. But Schulzer getting his revenge.
On the way to Aga 2. Let's see how many blue balls. Aga 1 was very nice. Ooh,
Nice triple to start.
Double triple? Bad layout, but possibility?
No,
Oh,
that was a good play by Schulzer. Nice, easy 2-cycle there.
now go and get Castle Tower and don't drop in, Schulzer. I wouldn't imagine you would forget it, but
Put me on in a voice call with friends, I might forget it, but at this point you're definitely like, you know what you're doing, and yep. Remembers we got Aga Tower time.
I was scared
And
for a hot second.
For Zen, what is he gonna do? Is he just heading right back up to TR? Is he gonna do left side? He's bailing. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, at this point, Zen was already in pretty bad shape, but this is... You want to talk about nail, like... Left side swamp is the last location now in his shoes.
Most definitely. 2 items and...
Like, even going back to pod is a better play for him at this moment. Yeah, and I mean, Zen was already behind. Like, I don't want to... But, like, there was at least a trail that he was on. Now it's just... This is rough. You feel bad, like, when the go mode situation works out this way.
But there's not much to be done around it. In Zen's shoes, I think most runners would have done the exact same thing.
Yep. No, and that's the hard part. Is like, I'm in bracket as well, and like, I have the exact same instinct as Zen did here. 1 from go mode, I am skipping left side swamp. Schulzer being 2 from go at that moment, like, his best play was full clear swamp palace. Like, that's just the sad part of being in this game. And wow, look at that torch. We talk about hook speed in this room, and you know, being a gamer, Schulzer's whole sprite is practically into the torch or level with the torches. That is being a gamer tonight.
Aga 1 was very nice. In terms of balls.
Okay, I'm gonna just say I like the fact that we threw the boomerang outside of the room.
You're in
the little
detention. Boomerang's in detention. Gold sword, silver arrows, red mail, 14 hearts. This'll be routine, Ganon.
Yeah, this is unfair to Ganon. He didn't have a chance.
Zen getting the bad news. Or good news, silvers, but bad news, no Desert Big.
And very nice kill there from Schulzer on Ganon. Get your GGs in chat for Schulzer as he will move on into the round of 32, or the second round of brackets here in the Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament, where he will face off with GFE. That is our first known matchup in round 2. GG to Schulzer. Looks like Zen is heading back for Hera. I don't know. It looks like he's continuing for now. Don't know if he's got the race room open or every run's a little bit different. So we'll see how long he decides to continue on with this race for now. And we'll see if we can get Schulzer in here for an interview.
At least we're getting a peek at what was in Hera basement. We know it won't be Desert Palace big, but powder, book, another key.
Right. As we are now joined in the booth by Schulzer. GG.
GG.
So, I'm sure you and Zen have talked at least a little bit at this point. We're watching him about to check Hera basement, although it does look like his timer stopped, so maybe this is a forfeit from Zen. Those boots, I'm sure you guys talked a little bit. The boots leading to Desert Big as well as Fire Rod. How tough was the decision to do left side swamp?
I don't think it was that bad for me, honestly. Like, I didn't want to. At that point, I didn't like want to skip anything because I felt like there's probably something behind those boots in TR. Hopefully, leading to that fire rod. I don't want them. I don't want the items to be like that far left on the way. Maybe like the boots checks or pod. I don't know. Spy cave stuff that was open for like an eternity at this point. So I just decided to full clear at this point. I felt good about the seed, so I don't know if I was ahead at that point, and I was like, yeah, the left side swamp maybe could me lose the game, but I feel like I have a one other left side swamp D that I could give Sven at this position, and I probably have to rewatch the race, but it turned out good today, so I can complain.
Right. We are also joined by Zen. GG's.
Yo, GG Schulzer.
GG.
Yeah, that was the thing. I'll say roughly after Myers, Schulzer, you had a little bit of a lead, not drastic. A couple extra checks here or there for either one of you, but nothing too drastic. Zen, you choosing Hyrule Castle and Aga, while Schulzer rushing Turtle Rock, kind of is where the big shift occurred in this race. So.
Yeah, I think it was like there was like 8 available logical checks at that point for me in TR, while the whole left over I have left with Hyrule Castle was like 10, and I was like, yeah, let's do TR. The TR big key was locked behind 6 spots more, so you already have them. So maybe there's something locked behind TR again, like a fire lord, and yeah, it was locked behind TR again today. I have a feeling that I already played this lead. Wait, no, not exactly.
I mean, my thought process is because I put off Uncle and Hyrule Castle for that long, I didn't want to get. I mean, I probably should have had the mentality, if it's there, I've already lost, but I don't like that mentality so much. So I was like, right, I'm going to go check that now and finish that off. And hopefully I didn't miss something in here that, like boots, basically, that I went an hour and whatever without boots.
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically, we were talking about that. Like, Uncle could have been the big burn spot there because, a lot of people check Uncle. But the fact that tier 1 and, like, you didn't guarantee yourself an early weapon and Dark World access was relatively free in this seed. Like, we thought it was probably not too bad for front of Hyrule Castle for both of you to skip it for so long. But
yeah,
after that,
I've been burned by it a few times, so it sits in the back of your head sometimes. It's like,
Of course.
I'm not going to leave that today, and it just wasn't the right call today.
Yep. And then, of course, we were waiting to see where that fire rod was, and as soon as we saw it was King's Tomb, I think we, for Schulzer, we knew that was about as optimal as a route as it could get. And when we saw you head there after TR, we were like, now everything except left side swamp looks even remotely appealing. Like, that was about as bad of a spot for Desert Big at that moment.
Yeah, I thought about going back in, but part of me was like, is this going to be one of those, oh, you have to go into TR to get your boots, to get your fire rod, to get your swamp small, and to go back and get the Pyramid Fairy again, something dumb like that. So I was just like, no way I'm doing left side swamp here.
Yeah, no, and that, completely reasonable. I said it myself. I was like, if I was in your position there and got King's Tomb for the fire rod, I probably would have done the exact same thing. Like, from one bracket runner to another, like, that was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking, like, the more I play the game, that sometimes your item order is of the most importance.
Yep.
If I go back in and get, Swamp Small first and go to Swamp first, I'd probably full clear Swamp at that point, looking for the Fire Rod. But, it's just item order got me.
Exactly. And, I don't know about what you would have done, Schulzer, but if you had gotten Fire Rod first, do you think you might have skipped left side swamp?
Probably.
Yeah, so like
I may not be definitive here because
yeah,
like,
of course, in the
what do you
moment.
have at that point, like other than going back to TR to that bomb, like that was the Hydro Castle, which probably does feel better at this point. So there maybe was a chance to do it, but I don't know exactly.
Yeah, and that's
I would say most likely.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, what I want to convey as a commentator about what everybody's watching is that, item order does make a huge difference here. And unfortunately, in this situation, Fire Rod first was just objectively going to result this way in some regards, whereas Desert Palace Big first, it's like, oh yeah, no, you know exactly how you want to route this. So, not all go modes are equal.
Yeah. Sometimes you just hit the wrong combo item and then you're lost forever.
Yeah.
You can nothing do about the one person gets mid score mode, the other one I thought, oh, I guess we know who won this race.
Exactly. So unfortunately, Zen, this does mean the end of your main tournament run. Any words on that?
I'm happy that I made brackets again this year. Didn't make it quite as far this year, but I mean, everybody every year just keeps getting stronger and stronger, and Schulzer is already a well-established and fantastic runner. So GG's again to Schulzer. Keep moving forward in brackets. I want to see how far you can go. Hopefully you can win it all. And just thank you, to you, Jesse, and Demons again for commentating, and Saws, thanks for tracking.
Now, on the other side, of course, Schulzer, we do know your opponent already. You are playing GFE. You and GFE both being the second runner out of your groups, taking down group winners. GFE getting past Dixon, you getting past Zen. So we already know your opponent.
Yeah. I somehow managed to get the same opponents from last year again. I faced ZenArcane last year in the group phase. Now I'm facing GFE. We met in the half finals last year, where I won. I hope I can repeat that, like with ZenArcane. But both of them, ZenArcane and GFE, are both great runners. I may have a little bit execution advantage, but then they're gonna then know, like, you never know. But I just hope that we can have some great matches and I can do some great skips like Lost Woods today. I'm feeling so great about skipping Lost Woods in the seed in the main tournament. I've never think I can go that far, but it worked out. I was like, I surely can do this in later at some point with Firelord and Mirror, and well, Firelord was go mode, so I never managed to go there again.
Exactly. I hadn't even thought about Lost Woods, and you still never going back to it. Oh man, that is right. We saw you save and quit out of Kakariko without even getting Bottle Vendor. And going back for that after getting the flute. Wow. That's a choice.
It worked out.
It worked out. Exactly. So I don't know. Either you guys have anything else, or are we to the point to start shutting down for today?
I
GG's
just
again,
want-
and thanks.
Yeah, thank you for 2 great matches, and please, can I get finally Ambrosia or Mac Boss? I know that people played this mode, but I haven't played it yet. Like, I
Oh,
want to play all 5 modes this tournament, please.
I'm sorry. I've played 3 Ambrosias so far in main, 3 all in groups.
I don't
I
know
would
that's
have
why.
picked for Fad Keys.
Okay,
s-
against GFE next round, I'm not gonna play Tournament Hard or Standard Boots. I might have played a Ambrosia, Fat Keys, or Mac Boss Shuffle in the first match. That's a weird institution,
Yep.
but yeah.
I will point out we do have 2 more matches on the schedule for today. We've got game 2 between Dapper Wormman and Tam. That's going to be 8:40 p.m. on Speed Gaming 2. We also have Orange versus Skelly on ALTTP randomizer scheduled for 9:10 p.m. I will say Dapper is down 1 game there, so Tam looking to move on. Tam is the number 1 seed, Dapper the 64, and I don't know about the Orange Skelly matchup. Let me see if I can find out really quickly on that one, if this is the first game of that series. Actually, Orange is already up a game over Skelly, so both of those are game 2s where the runner is looking to seal that up. But once again, thanks to Saws for tracking Demons. It was fun. You want to close this out for today? Demons? Okay. Well, Demons, it was a pleasure to come with you today. Hope everybody has a great rest of their Tuesday. And I will we'll see you later for more Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament. We are working our way down to 1 runner for tournament champions. So have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see y'all later.